Above All Else. We are a podcast geared for women looking to grow in their relationship with Jesus Christ. And we are also a part of this really cool new platform called We the Church. We the Church is an online platform that has brought together over 25 voices from different churches, different areas of our country, and just speaking about different topics that we've all experienced. If you would like more information about it, you can click the link in our description and it'll take you right to the website, and you can hear more from Emily Bird, Jen Kish, and myself on there. You can find any of our podcast episodes on that website, as well as articles written by the three of us and the other voices that contribute to We the Church. And so We the Church is all about just being the church, we, the body of Christ, coming together and encouraging and uplifting one another. So we are so excited about that. And we are so excited about today. And I'll say we're so excited. So let me start. I guess we're going to
33% of us are nervous.
I think 66.666% of us are very nervous about this.
Emily is so excited.
33% of us got this. So we're going to disclaimer. So if you are Jen Kish's family, I'm just kidding, or my family. No, but really, if you listen to this podcast with your kids, we are going to be talking biblically. So there's nothing that's going to be unbiblical, undoctrinally sound, that kind of stuff. But we are going to be talking about a more mature topic today. So if you listen to your kids usually and you're like, hey, I don't know that they're prepared for this, maybe just give it a little listen, see what you think before they listen to it. I don't know what else to say other than may the odds be ever in your favor is kind of how I feel like starting this. The Hunger Games. It is not like that, y'all. It is not like that at all. It is not that serious. I mean, it's a serious topic, but it's just because I'm the most awkward person to ever walk this planet. So it's just because I am married to Joseph and he does things like he did before we started recording and start singing songs as he's walking through the house. So we will get in.
Well, tell them what the topic is.
Oh, shoot. I've got to. Why not, Emily? You know what? I think you would do an amazing job of today. I think that you should be the one. You say it so beautifully. You just go ahead.
What are we talking about, Emily?
Is it the title that I gave you?
Sure, girl. We're going with that. You go. Okay. You run with it.
Today, we are talking about making intimacy fun in marriage and just our thoughts as far as all of that goes. But first, let's just start off with some scripture to show that, you know what, God, he means for us to be intimate with our husbands. And so let's see what he says in 1 Corinthians chapter 7. So let me put on my readers because I'm officially an old person.
I'm not laughing at you. I have progressive lenses, so I'm not laughing at you. My reading glasses are just built into my regular glasses.
And these are my old ones. I actually have some that are really cute, but they weren't in my desk here. Oh, well.
You work it.
We're going to be in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verses 1 through 6. It says, now for the matters you wrote about, it is good for a man not to have sexual relations with a woman. But since sexual immorality is occurring, each man should have sexual relations with his own wife and each woman with her own husband. The husband should fulfill his marital duties to his wife, and likewise the wife to her husband. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but yields it to her husband. And in the same way, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but yields it to his wife. Do not deprive each other, except perhaps by mutual consent and for a time, so that you may devote yourselves to prayer. Then come together again so that Satan will not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. I say this as a concession, not as a command. The Lord has planned for us to be one flesh. It's from the very beginning, from the garden. This is what we are supposed to do as a married couple. And but it's something I think that we Christians don't talk about very much. And we'll talk in our small groups of women, but I do think that it's something that we shouldn't be ashamed of. And I think that it's something that needs to be talked about. And I've been in various conversations just in the last number of weeks about just well, sexual intimacy with our husbands. And sometimes it's not always easy. And especially moms of little kids. And when you're being touched all the time. And it's like, oh, I can't handle being touched again. Or I'm so tired. We women, we've got the agenda that is this long for each day. And, is this just one more thing that we're adding to the agenda? Or is it something that we're actually looking forward to? Um, so my thought in our discussions before we pressed record was, what are we doing to be intentional to make sure that this part of our lives is healthy? And how am I pursuing my man? How am I pursuing Jason Bird? How does he know that I want him in that way? And what do I have to do to get prepared for that? Oops, did you hear that?
Yeah, she
Sorry.
just got so excited. She's knocking her microphone over. She's whoop. I'm
But
just,
I do think there's intentionality that is required. So and
yep.
yes, my family is probably listening to this as well. So anyways,
You had the
yes,
disclaimer
family.
too.
Yes. Yes, family, me and Jason Bird do it. We've got kids, and you know what? We actually had a man who came up to us after we had our fourth baby, and he was a man in our church. He's like, "You know what causes that, don't you?" I'm like, "Well,
Oh, I
yes,
could write a book. I mean, like, do you
yes,
guys not have a TV in your bedroom? Are you Catholic? Like, I mean, how many more of course, you know what causes that.
Oh, you've got your
yes."
hands full.
Yes, you got your hands
Oh,
full,
sorry.
like, anyway. And
There's
maybe
Yes.
one.
we should talk
So,
too about the importance of it, how it affects the rest of your life too, before we jump
Yeah.
into, the whatever,
well,
the
run.
meat
Hey,
and
run with that.
potatoes.
And I
Yeah.
absolutely agree. I have a feeling I know what you're going to say, and I'll probably reiterate, but you run with that
Well,
because
I don't
you're
want to
right.
take it from you. You go
No, go,
for
go,
it.
go, go, go.
You sure? All
Yes,
right.
absolutely.
So I think that we've talked before about the crazy cycle, and I probably should give credit to the author of the book, but I think I didn't mention the book, but I think that this is part of that. It's like we were talking about before we pressed record again. It's like if the woman doesn't feel emotionally cared for,
Mhm.
then she does not want to be physical with her husband. So you get in this loop where he's not meeting my emotional needs, she's not
Mhm.
meeting my physical needs, he's not meeting my emotional needs. She's not, and so it's just around and around and around. And at some point, somebody has to stop that,
Mhm.
right? Somebody's got to get off the crazy train and and stop that. And I think if you can realize the importance in how important sexual intimacy is, like to your marriage. I was telling them too that in our house we call it the glue. Like it is really what holds us together, keeps us on the same page. Not that it makes us magically agree with each other about everything, but it makes the disagreements manageable. It makes the things
Mhm.
where we don't see eye to eye, it's like, oh, but I really love him and he, really loves me and we can find a way to solve this together. But I think that you'll find that you're just more pleasant with one another, when you are intentional and like routinely meeting one another's needs
Mhm.
physically and emotionally. So I see it a lot when I talk to younger women who are outtouched, overstimulated with, the kids and the responsibilities of a mom, and you have I won't spoil what you're going to say because we call it the preheat, and you've got something better to share that I think that would be more beneficial. But it's hard when you need time to think about getting mentally prepared to be with your husband and you have had no time to prepare mentally for that because you're doing this and that and your mind multitasks so it goes in a million directions. So finding ways to be intentional about connecting with your spouse throughout the day, and you mentioned this too, Emily, but we're big texters. Like we are constantly, flirting with one another. We we love to gross our kids out and, make not, just by the things that we say to one another and just to show them that we're still interested in each other. And we try to do that regularly to just sort of keep that emotional connection so that when it's time for a physical connection, like I've already been preheating, like I'm already ready for that. Um, but I think it is so powerful in your marriage to be connected and to come together as one. And then you can go out and really take on most any problem that comes against you because you're starting from a page where you were physically united.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord created us in that way to where those two flesh that may be combative or coming at one another come together and become one flesh in a physical way, and then that overflows into every other part of our lives. And so I think it's an amazing topic. I think we need to talk about it because I think that we need to encourage young families, older families, everyone, women, just to be able to start the conversation, to know how important it is to be intimate and to be excited about your husband. I love the way you say that, Emily. I love what you say always about he turns your toes. That's another Emily phrase that lives in my
Yes.
head.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, I think that's really important.
I think so. Yes, I 100% agree. Sorry, I didn't want it to sound like I was starting that with like I think something different. No, I 100% agree. And while you were talking, I was thinking through, yeah, well, I've been thinking through for the past like little bit that we've been talking, just kind of like what. So when we got married, obviously we both grew up in church, and purity culture killed the biblical marriage meaning, right? Like the biblical sexual relationship meaning. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say? So, purity culture came in and said, you don't do this, right? You don't do this. There was no, we don't do this because of like one, the symbolism between like of a covenant, of a literal like, I mean, if we want to get, is it okay if I take it a step deeper? I mean, we did a disclaimer. Is it okay if we, okay, I'm just making sure before I go because, sometimes I say things and I'm like, should not have said that. So like the actual, I mean, let's say you have both saved yourself for marriage, right? Like your first union together, there's probably going to be some blood that is spilled, quite literally. Like maybe a little bit, but not, and it's not a bad thing. It's just, like, hey, we just ripped something. So it's, once again, sorry, y'all. Look, Jen's face, she's like, my mom is going to die.
I tried not to make the face, but I saw out of my peripheral vision myself make the face.
I
I'm really
love that face. So, well, and I say that though because when I was younger, I wish somebody had said to me, hey, listen, this is a covenant that you're making. Like in the Old Testament, covenants with God were like blood was shed. And I don't say it to be gross or say it to be like weird or anything like that, but like when you enter into a marriage, you are making a covenant with your husband and with God. It is not just we'll do what feels good and then we'll get divorced and we'll just do whatever else we want to do. That's why sexual intimacy is specifically meant for marriage, and that's what I want to make sure we're taught. We all like that. Everybody listening understands. Like when we're talking about this, we're talking about from a marriage perspective. We've each
Absolutely.
said that, but just to reiterate. And so so this is a literal covenant, and so it's such a bigger thing than just, well, you wouldn't buy a car before you drove it. Well, I mean, you're right. I probably wouldn't, but that's not what this is. This is not buying a car because I could trade a car in. I buy a bad car, I can trade it in, right? Like, this is not that. This is a covenant. This is not something like that. And so, purity culture said to us, don't do this. If you do this, you are living in sin, right? So Joseph and I got married at 21. And for 21 years, I had been told, don't do this or you are living in sin. And then all of a sudden, there's like this big party where I wear a pretty dress. And then it's like, oh, it's game on.
Green
What?
light.
Like, that's
Yeah.
not at all like, the the first year or two of our marriage, like, really was this and when I say deconstructing, please don't hear it in like the new age, like I'm deconstructing what the Bible says. It was deconstructing this idea that this was a sin. Like, in the
Mhm.
context of marriage that I was living in, this was not a sin. And I had to
Mhm.
break down those, be like, it is okay. Because even though for 21 years it was no, 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 no. Okay, we ate some good
Same.
food, had a party, now whatever. And so I think for a lot of people, sexual intimacy is can be seen as something that's like there's still that negative stigma. And
Like
so
a
I think it's
taboo.
yeah, I think it's so important that we talk about this. I'm At first I was like, man, this is I'm awkward. Like, I'm just going to say the wrong thing. But now like I was not like this pre-show. Like, I was very very shy, very reserved, and now I'm like, wait, no, because what I don't want is for young ladies out there who are getting married young, who have been told, not even getting married young, I don't care how old you're getting, whatever. But if you've been told, like, hey, this is a sin. Yes, outside of marriage, it is a sin. But once you enter into a marriage covenant between your husband and God, like, it, it's not. Like, it was created to be beautiful and created to be, as Joseph likes to say, it's worship. So really, which
It
is,
absolutely is.
I'm like, calm down, calm down. But sorry, that was a tangent that I literally had not planned on going on. Like, I literally
I love that.
was so awkward at the beginning, and now I'm like, like, so I apologize, but I think that that's another reason it's so important that we're having this conversation and talking about, like Jen said, it's not just the physical intimacy. That's a big part of it, though. Like, I mean, especially if you've come from purity culture, like you're our, I think, I think the church dropped the ball. True love waits. That man's not even a Christian anymore. So,
But it is important to stress purity. But
mm-hmm.
I do think that my
Yes.
mom did it really, really well in the fact that she stressed purity and we're, you wait for your spouse, yet she was always telling me this is a beautiful, wonderful thing.
Mm.
Now, one thing, and Mom, if you're listening, I'm throwing you under the bus, so forgive me in advance. The other thing she didn't tell me though is the act itself is difficult, especially at first. So when you're mentioning the covenant of blood, I love that. I've never even thought about that. I think that was such a beautiful thing. I didn't know that that would happen. So that was a surprise to me. And it was very, very difficult for a while. And I remember Jason Bird and I hope it's okay that I'm sharing this story, but I've shared it before, so I just haven't shared it where many, many, many people will hear it. But we had dated for almost 7 years, and we had waited for each other. So then the wedding night, after we drive all the way to Charlotte, and it's like it's here, and so there we are in our hotel room. It's like, oh, what do we do? And it's like the red light has been up for almost 7 years. And now it's like green light. And we were both so nervous. And the very first thing he said was, I think we need to pray. We got at the end of the bed on our knees and he said the sweetest prayer. And it was one of the sweetest parts of our entire honeymoon. And he pulled my heartstrings and even though the act itself was difficult and he was very, very patient with me, um, he had drawn my heart in handling it that way. And I was so very, very grateful. But you're right. It's like red light, red light. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, what do we do? And you can read all of the magazines and you can hear all the stories, but and I'm so grateful that we got to experience that together. It was precious, but I, I I do think that we still need to stress purity, but we also need to stress the fact that it is so beautiful, and it is such a wonderful thing, and it can be wonderful, but it's not going to be soap opera sex immediately. It's going to take time.
Yes.
And just being really, really honest with our children, especially, and I say especially our daughters. I don't have sons, but especially our sons too, I'm sure. But I've tried to be really open and honest with my girls. And sometimes we have some uncomfortable conversations, at least uncomfortable for them. I don't.
Yeah.
No, they don't
I
care.
believe in having very honest, open conversation. There's nothing taboo that's spoken around our table. Um, but I know I had talked about making things fun, but I don't want to hop in front of uh, anything else that needs to be said. So, Jen, did you have something to say? I saw you
I
open your
was
mouth.
just going to add on to really quickly to this, like a similar thing about purity culture, because I think you're right, Emily, is that for me, it's like you grow up because we did the True Love Waits thing. Jared and I both, we went
Mhm.
through the ceremony, we got their rings, like with my
Mhm.
mom and like the whole thing. And it was more that it's in my mind, it's like you hear sex bad, sex bad, sex bad, sex bad, and then it's like, oh, sex good. And that really is a rewiring. I mean, even, and I think that is probably, I don't know if it's only a Christian, like being raised and sheltered in a Christian environment that it, because if it comes on TV, it's like, oh, it's bad, turn it off, or if somebody says it in a song lyric, like the song that, was being
Guilt
sung.
for
like we're
copyright
like, oh,
purposes.
we mark those things, we earmark them bad,
Mhm.
bad, bad, and it's because the enemy has twisted what it
Mhm.
is, right? And he's
Right.
manipulated the truth of what it's
Hmm.
supposed to be, and he's given it a new definition, and he's constantly trying
Mhm.
to redefine what it is. So I think that, Emily, you make a great point, recognizing that it's beautiful,
Mhm.
recognizing the covenant. Gosh, Bree, that's beautiful. Like we need to get our definitions
Hmm.
from the Word of God and not from the
Right.
world. And so if I come to my marriage with the renewed, transformed mind of Christ, knowing that I need to best connect with my husband so that he and I are the best that we can be together, so that
Hmm.
we can be the best parents and the best, best in our ministries or whatever we're doing, that is all an overflow of what happens between he and I.
Hmm.
So just making sure that we're not taking our understanding and definition of sex that was created by God from the world, the culture, and the enemy who's tried to manipulate it into something taboo or perverted even. So
Right.
I just wanted to mention that because I had a lot of that experience too that I had to work through when I was a newlywed. So but I do want you to share, Emily. I'm excited about what you have to say. So
Yes.
that's all for me
Well,
for now.
Girl, you go.
Talk about that
well, we had
candle.
talked. I do think that it's really, really important that Jason Bird knows that I am pursuing him as well. He shouldn't always be the one who has to initiate. And with we mamas, and working women, our agenda is so long, and we've got so many things that we're doing. And I don't want being intimate with my husband to be just on the agenda. It's like, oh, it's another thing I have to do. I want to be such an important part, and I want him to know that I want him. I find him attractive, and oh my goodness, he turns my toes. I want him to know that, and I want to show him that, not just tell him, but show him. So there's some intentionality that is required on my part. And yes, I want him to pursue me, and he needs to be telling me all the things. But sometimes, again, it takes intentionality. So that we went to a conference years ago, and there was a man named Ted Cunningham. So this is not my idea, so I will give him all the credit. And if you've never seen Ted Cunningham or listen to him, he's worth looking up. He's hilarious. Oh my lands, he's a hoot. But he's such a he's such an advocate for married couples. And but one of the conferences we had attended was about sexual intimacy, and he said that men are microwaves and women are crockpots. And of course, we know that is true. Doesn't take much for a man to get going, and we women, it takes us a while. But we know that once A crock pot meal is delicious. Not everything in a microwave is always great. This is so hard. Let's just delete.
No, we're keeping that one because that was amazing.
This is not easy.
I'm trying to hold it together.
You said it's delicious.
It's true. You can get my crock pot on high. It's going to be a delicious night. Uh,
So we'll leave part of that in because part of that was hilarious, and I think that that's funny. Oh man, but
I don't care.
I'm so sorry. I'm so
No,
sorry.
it
I
was
was
literally.
trying.
So yes, a roast left in the crock pot all day is going to be better than the Dino chicken nuggets from the microwave. There we go. There we go. That's better quality. There you go. Better quality.
You gonna is it?
We're just gonna keep going. We're just flying by the seat of our pants at this point. I was fine, girl. I was
a teenager right now.
I was doing it. It was when you said delicious, and I was like,
It's
And
true.
I was trying not to
It's
look at
true.
Bree. I was trying not to make, and I
oh,
lost it.
I
I'm
looked. I
sorry.
looked at Jen. I lost it too because I was like, she just said delicious. She said that word. Oh.
It's true.
Okay,
Give me
okay.
a crock pot meal
It is.
any day
It is.
over
I agree.
over
I
Right.
Dino
Yes. No.
nuggets.
Yes. Dino nuggets. Yes.
So everybody likes a crock pot meal. You know, I mean, it's been simmering, it's been stewing for hours. And so, anyways, what Ted Cunningham had recommended, he said, you know, men, we got to remember that our women are crock pots. And so we've got to be preparing them. So, anyways, long story short, Jason Bird and I, years ago, we had what we called the crock pot candle. And it wasn't because the candle looked like a crock pot, but it's because he's married to a crock pot right here. So, anyways, in the morning, I would light this particular candle. It was we had chosen a candle and I would light it. And so when he comes downstairs and he sees that crock pot candle lit on the oven, it's like, oh, okay, tonight is the night. But like we have to be intentional that day. So throughout that day, he's going to text me, he's going to call me, I'm going to call him. I'm going to be mentally preparing myself and thinking about what is to come. And then when he gets home, you know, he'll help me with babies. He'll help me put up dishes. He may even run me a bath and let me have some solitude, and he put the girls to bed. But he has been pursuing me all day long, so that not only am I'm physically ready, I'm also mentally and emotionally ready because we're going to have a really, really good night. And so that, and we haven't done that for a while, but that was always, especially when we were in the throes of having little girls and little kids, and I'm homeschooling, and I was even homeschooling neighbors. It was really, really hard. And so the crock pot handle worked really, really well. The other thing, I think we have to just make it fun, and we have to be ready to laugh because sometimes it'll be awkward. It's going to be awkward. And so there is no better time to communicate than during time. And we can laugh. There was I remember there was one night, or excuse me, it was one afternoon, as one and Jason Bird is home from work and he's mowing the yard. And we used to have these French doors on the back of our home, and it led to this balcony. Well, we always had an ironing board in our bedroom. How romantic is that? Anyways, the ironing board set in front of those French doors. And so as he's making his round, he can see me through those French doors. I can see him and I'm ironing. And so every time he makes a round, well, there's one more article of clothing that I'm removing each time. And so every time, it's like, oh, okay, well, now she's just in a t-shirt. Oh, okay. Well, now she's in a t-shirt and panties. I've taken my pants off. So every time he continues to make his laugh, it's like, what are we going to see? Well, finally, we're down to just underclothes. So he knows the next lap that he makes, he's going to be seeing something. Now, it takes like 4 to 5 minutes for him to make a lap. Instead, I had run into my bed or my bathroom real quick, and I'd thrown on my robe. I put my hair up in a towel, and I'd rolled up a piece of paper that looked like a cigarette. over there. So when he made his round and he's expecting to get an eyeful, he sees this old woman with a towel wrapped around her head in her bathroom and she's ironing with her cigarette in her mouth. Oh, he just laughed. But you know what? Him laughing and me laughing, it brought us so close together. And we had such a great evening that night. If we can just make things fun and not take ourselves so seriously, that just it makes a difference. And if we can laugh when things are awkward, because get awkward and there's all kinds of weird sounds and you know,
Yeah.
let's just be honest here. It just happens and we just laugh. And if we cannot take ourselves so seriously and just have fun with this part of our life, it really that was a changing point when I stopped taking myself so seriously. Jason Bird was not quite as serious as I was. I just thought I had to do everything right and to be, what we see in the movies. And that's not reality. It's not reality. This part of our life is just for me and Jason Bird to enjoy each other and all that includes. And so, anyways, I think there's just intentionality that is required for and even forward little text messages that I will send him during the day or he'll send me or little memes. I think okay, like I love him pursuing me that way and he
Yeah.
loves it when I pursue him back. So I think that's so important. It's intentional to get our female mind into that mode of thinking. We crock pots, we're slow to heat up, but when we do heat up, it's awful good.
There you go. I think
Yeah.
that I like the crock pot candle idea because, well, for multiple reasons. Because one, it's like, well, it's a scheduled thing, right? I'm very much so a scheduled person, so that's how it goes. But also because it shows that you're being intentional, and he also then comes home and is intentional to make sure that like your emotional needs and the things that you need are, so it's intentionality both ways. It's not just, oh well, the woman has to be so intentional with this, and it's like, no, 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 because yes, you're intentional with this initiation, but he's intentional to foster that throughout the day, to be like, okay, well, what is this, like, what does my wife love, like, what is it that how can I show her that I love her and fill her tank and that kind of thing. So I just think that's a great picture of, I don't know, I love it, intentionality and just truly serving one another, right?
Yes.
And so,
And having fun. Having
yeah.
fun in marriage is so important because so much of marriage is, the bills and the monotony and the
Hmm.
kids and the discipline and all of the things. So, finding ways to have fun, I think, is paramount.
Oh yeah.
I do too. And touching each other.
Hmm.
I wish I had the statistic in front of me. I just read it a number of weeks ago, but for endorphins to be released, your kiss has to last at least,
Oh
what
yeah,
was it?
Jared just told me
I'll
this.
have to look.
Jared just told me.
I'll
Was
have to
it
ask
6
Joseph because
seconds?
Joseph
Maybe
literally.
it's just 4 seconds. Anyways, it's let's say 4 to 7 seconds. It was a certain amount of
Hmm.
seconds. It
Hmm.
wasn't 10, but you have for endorphins to be released and for there to be a connection made, you need to have a lasting kiss, not just a peck, but a lasting kiss for just a few seconds for there to be connections made. And I just think it's so important that we are kissing each other and that we are touching each other. Jason Bird, if I am washing dishes, I guarantee he's going to come up and he's going to wrap his arms around me. He's going to pinch my
Hmm.
butt cheeks. He's going to do something. And I love that my girls see it. They need to see that. It's healthy. It's strong. It's just good. It's just good. And they need to see me pursuing him too. And I love to grab his butt.
Kaylin told me the other day, Joseph, kissed me goodnight, and Kaylin said, no more kisses. So then it became like a, okay, we'll watch what we can do because we're your mom and dad. And so, I mean, that's not what I mean. I came out a lot like it was more scandalous than it actually was.
It's okay.
It was not very scandalous at all in front of our 2-year-old, promise. But no, I think that Joseph says all the time, here goes, sorry, throwing Joseph under the bus. I didn't ask, I asked him permission to talk, so it's fine. And we all heard his response. So he'll say all the time, he'll be like, "You're my only wife for the rest of my life. Like, you're the only person that I get to do this with for the rest of my life. So you're gonna like have to be okay with me complimenting you or saying nice things about you." And he'll say, "Your butt's the only one I get to slap for the like," because he just walks right past me and will like hit me on the butt. And I'm like, "If you don't stop doing that, like
Uh,
it hurt." Like I'm like, "Please stop." But
oh, but wouldn't we be sad if he stopped?
it would
Oh
be a
my,
weird day. It would be a weird day if
yes.
he didn't though. I'd be like, "Are you mad at me? Do you hate me? What happened?" But no, Joseph will come, he'll hug me and he'll be like, "Endorphins, endorphins, endorphins." And he'll just grab me and hold like he's like, "Let's release the endorphins." And so Joseph's all about the
Oh, that's sweet.
endorphins, just statistics. That's why I was
That's
like,
sweet.
I'll just go ask him because he literally tells me all the time. But I have thoroughly enjoyed today, and I think that as we talk about marriage and family, there's so many. I feel like this topic is like almost like a header, right? Like we talked about kind of like the heading today, but then there's so many other things we could talk about with, you know, being like just intimacy with in our marriages, whether it's, sexual or non-sexual. And so I'm really excited to even just continue this conversation as we continue each week. And so thank you, ladies, for everything, like all the giggles and all the laughs. And um, thank you, Emily, for all the things, because I feel like I was, at least she said, because I feel like I was at first like,
Today's queen bee, Emily.
yeah, there we go. We'll get you a. She participated the most. She's the one who carried us. She carried us today. But we,
If only they could see the things that were edited out.
Yeah.
oh gosh, yeah. Listen, there are some things that I'm like, I don't know that that should be, but I will. I will edit the editing
Take them out.
process.
Take them out. Take them
We'll
out.
take them out. Listen, we're not. Emily's family listens to this and possibly Jen's, and so, but
Oh my.
we disclaimered them though.
No.
We
So
did. We disclaimer. If you listened, it's
that's on
sorry.
you. That's your fault.
You went past the disclaimer.
You
So
brought this upon yourself, and you now know more about us than you probably ever wanted to know.
Oh my.
But hopefully you gained something about ways that we just as married people need to love our husbands, and our husbands also I mean it's a mutual thing, right? Um it's not just a one-way street. And so
Right.
hopefully some man listens to it. I don't know, we'll see. Joseph, he'll be the one. Anyway, all right. Well, we are so excited once again to be back, and just excited to be recording and releasing content. And so you can expect to hear from us currently every other week. And we will continue to put out content. If you guys want, you can like and follow our Facebook page, where you will be exposed to all of our content. And you can also find us on We the Church, and we will link that, like I said, in our description, and you will be able to find us there. And you can share your little heart out, all the podcast shares, because this one's gonna be the one, you guys. This is, if anybody's gonna share one of them, it's gonna be this episode, because it just would be. That's how it would go. So anyway, we will talk to you guys in a couple of weeks. See you later.